billion naira was appropriated, but 548 million naira was released, while amount spent was 494 million naira, resulting in 38.25% utilization. On the capital expenditure and other projects utilized under the capital expenditure, the Executive Secretary said,
we had a total of 2.974 billion naira allocated last year. Let me say clearly, sir, that much of the capital grant was actually for MDG projects. So none was spent by the scheme on anything. Everything was spent on MDG. So we just have like a conduit. Money came in and we released to all the facilities and the HMOs that ran those organizations. So we had allocation of 2.97 billion. 1.25 billion was released, and the expenditure was 1.04 billion, giving us 35.23% utilization.
For the internally generated revenue for 2014, an amount of 48 million naira was realized from sales of object funds, registration of facilities, accreditation of the agency's facilities, and tenders. The agency further said the amount has been remitted to the government coffers as stipulated by law. The 2015 budget of the NHIS, however, proposes a sum of 13 billion naira to enable it execute major projects towards moving the evolving health scheme forward. But contrary to the proposal, about 6.7 billion naira has been allocated.
We have 1.9 million Nigerians registered already who have been enjoying this program since last year. So the way things are, it's clear that we will not be able to continue with this program if this is all that will be possible this year. So I don't know if there's anything that can still be done about that.
The committee questioned the agency's projected revenue for 2015.
What forms total generation of your revenue should include every item that are supposed to give you revenue. Whether eventually when they arrive, you send it to consolidated account is immaterial at this point. But we're trying to capture every revenue. So if you're projecting, and even by way of appropriation, we're not seeing 61 point whatever. In your own books, even if it's going to be taken as source, it should reflect in your own books because it's also what you are receiving. What informs how you prepare this?
Is the collection from the sale of forms, tender fees, and the rest, which is quite different from the insurance form, which is contribution from various agencies. I think the bulk of your financial activity is not here. Your operational fund is not being reflected here. So this is not complete. Every ministry, every agency, every department of the government is making contribution into that special NHIS account. That is not being reflected here. Millions of naira on behalf of their staff, billions of naira is not being reflected here. Where is that account?
Because federal government is supposed to be paying 2/3, where workers are supposed to contribute 1/3. But they have not been doing that. What we do with it, we use it to pay capitation on monthly basis through the HMOs to the various facilities. Then we take 10% of it. That is what is used for operation of the scheme. And 5% of it is kept as reserve fund, which is a buffer fund for insurance. And we have 5%, which is something that we have been accumulating for IT infrastructure. That's it. We pay as much as 7 billion quarterly.
Your boss has already submitted that you people are not with what we would have loved you to have. That has answered every other thing. But you made a blunder by attaching this thing. It shouldn't be there. This thing ought not to be there at all. If you, for an agency, you're saying that your projection for 2015 is 190, whereas simply either they take it as source, 61 million is being given by primary care, whether as source or they are doing it themselves. So you see, for one agency is giving 61 million, and your projection for 250 is 109. It's absurd.
NAFDAC, on its part, utilized 99.98% of a released allocation of 7.9 million naira. Total revenue generated 8.87 billion naira, with a breakdown of 2.6 billion naira generated through administrative fines, charges, and registration fees, while money generated through user fees came to 6.3 billion naira. 25% of the total revenue generated was remitted to the Federation accounts. A balance of 8 million naira was used to supplement the shortfall of the 2014 budget. For 2015 budget proposal, 14.38 billion naira was allocated as opposed to 41.6 billion naira proposed for 2014. The committee noted that the figures presented before it had discrepancies.
Budgets of federal government-owned corporations. I'm sure you know that the Fiscal Responsibility Act stipulates that when you are bringing budget by appropriation, you should also bring budget of other agencies that are not backed by appropriation, and that is backed by IGR. And this is then it's from Budget Office of the Federation, Federal Ministry of Finance, Abuja. This is 2015 budget. So they compared what you did in 2014. Are you now telling us that this is fictitious?